What's good people? Welcome back to another presentation of the Yosef X Chronoscope. I am he, Yosef X, and tonight I have kind of a controversial subject, but kind of hilarious at the same time. Tonight's subject is entitled, Stop Lying on Your Wangamathang. We're going to be talking about the Casanova complex, because too many men in our society today and in years past have been lying on their Wangamathang. That's called the Casanova complex. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So come on in, relax, unwind, and let's chop it up. It's a new month. It's a new podcast presentation and new threads. So everything is new here tonight. Let's see who has joined us. Nadia, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. J. Cole, what's going on, brother? I do apologize for the technical difficulties. Appreciate the compliments. Appreciate the compliments. Brother Barron and Sister Nadia, greetings to you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate the compliment. Appreciate the compliment. Appreciate the compliment, J. Cole. Appreciate that, man. Brother Mike, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining us again here tonight. I have missed y'all, man. I miss being on the air, and we are multi-streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Daniel P., what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining us. Currently here in Brooklyn, it is 43 degrees, but the wind chill factor is 42 degrees. What's going on, brother? Thanks for joining us again tonight. We're going to get the ball started, rolling momentarily. But I must say, I have really missed being on the air. But I had to step away for a few days to simply recharge my batteries. I had to relax and unwind and regroup. But I am back. I feel stronger. I feel healthier than I did. It's always good to, get away from time to time and, just to unwind and relax, prepare, regroup. Preparation is so very, very important, and I'm glad to be back. Before we get started, it has come to my attention that controversial talk show host, the Reverend Thaddeus Matthews, is having some major health problems. And it's pretty severe. So I want you all to know that, keep them in your thoughts, and keep them in your prayers, because, with so much going on, you know, and I'll say this about Pastor Matthews, man. Me personally, I have the utmost respect for this man. He has the heart, he has the courage to tell it like it TI is. You may not agree with his style or his methodology of delivery. However, you cannot argue the fact that the man tells the truth, and he tells it exactly the way it needs to be said. And I just want to say personally that I wish him the very, very best, and I wish him a very, very, very speedy recovery, so that I'll be able to tune in whenever I get the chance, and I'll be able to learn even more from him. Let's see, we got a couple of brothers that's just Jameson. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. Let's see who else. Pastor Levi, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us again. Yeah, man. So I want, for those of you that don't know, um, keep Pastor Thaddeus Matthews in your thoughts and in your prayers, man, because um, he's having heart trouble. Excuse me, y'all. My apologies. My apologies. I'm having some technical difficulties here, and I'm trying my best to get it straight. The lovely Marla. Good evening to you too, dear. Thanks for joining us again. Let's see. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate the compliment, my dear. Thank you. Always a pleasure, Brother Jameson. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. All right. But yeah, what's good? What's good? And kudos to Daniel P for his video going viral. Congratulations on his success. And be sure to check him out. Be sure to check him out on his YouTube page. Listen, check it out. Our subject tonight is stop lying on your Wangamathang. Meaning stop lying on your penis. And we're going to be talking about the Casanova complex. The Casanova complex. Now, for those of you that are faithful Bible students and Bible scholars, my basis or my passage of scripture that I have selected to further strengthen my argument tonight will be coming from the book of Romans, according to the 12th chapter. And I'm going to be reading verse 3, or part of verse 3. No problem, man. No problem. Congratulations, man. Keep up the good work. Romans chapter 12 and a part of the 3rd verse. This is going to be a mixture of a little bit of Bible study and science and spirituality, if you will. It says, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly. I say again, Romans chapter 12 and a part of the 3rd verse. To every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly. Stop lying on your Wangamathang. Stop lying on your penis. Stop lying when we're talking about the Casanova complex. Why do I want to discuss a subject of this magnitude? First and foremost, it was inspired by my friend and colleague, Mr. Warren Rich. He is one of the intellectual juggernauts that I have ran across on social media, who understands human nature better than most. He is the one that gave me the inspiration to talk about the Casanova complex. The next reason why I want to talk about this subject tonight is because I'm an eyewitness more and more to these dating gurus who consistently lie to those who follows them on a regular and consistent basis, giving them all of the wrong information and all of the wrong tools. And too many men have been guilty of having the Casanova complex. Even Paul, in the text that I read for your consideration and in your hearing tonight, encourages the reader, the listener, and the doer of the word that it's all right to have confidence, but it's dangerous to think more highly of yourself than you should. It's all right having confidence. It's all right believing in yourself, because in one of the other epistles, Paul says of himself, I can do all things through Christ, or Yeshua, who continues to strengthen me. Too many men have a delusional belief about themselves. Too many men are extremely delusional. Too many men are willing to do anything and everything they can to win that woman over. But instead of doing it the honorable way and the decent way and the respectful way, they develop a Casanova complex. What exactly is the Casanova complex? The definition of it is a male who has a narcissistic philosophy or a belief to where he has to sexually intimidate or initiate a conversation with every woman. Hence, he has little to no experience sexually with women. Once again, the Casanova complex is a male who has a narcissistic philosophy or belief to where he has to sexually initiate or sexually intimidate or call themselves trying to attract every woman. And he himself has little to no sexual experience. Too many times men have said that they have lost their virginity or they became sexually active at a young age. But the reality is, if you think about it and you carefully do the research, you'll come to discover that the average man actually lost his virginity between the ages of 23 and 29. This is not to say that there are not men, or there haven't been any men that did not lose their virginity at a young age. But the majority of men, if they're truthful, will tell you they actually lost their virginity in their 20s. And it's also been said that women or young girls begin to be sexually active younger than men. And see, any male who has the Casanova complex will lie to all males who are virgins about their sexual exploits or other arenas or areas of sex, such as when they began to have sex. See? And these are the kinds of men that lives lives of quiet desperation. It's the truth. Think about it. Think about it. If you really pay attention to all of the dating gurus, not just on YouTube, not just on Instagram, not just here on Facebook, but other social media sites, notice that they're giving men the supposed cheat code to winning a woman's heart and to try to get her in the bed. Men desperately, they are living a life of quiet desperation. Now, please understand, I know for a fact that there are many men that are preaching the gospel against toxic women. I hear it all the time. And if I'm not hearing it all the time, I'm certainly am reading it on a status. I'm reading it on a status. See? And because I am reading it on a status, and they make some good points, and you all have heard me make some of the same points, how irresponsible women are and how dangerous women are and how they have used and abused their children only to get back at the baby father, etc., etc., etc. No bones about it. Make absolutely no bones and make absolutely no mistake about it. It happens. They use children as collateral damage. They use the children to get money. It happens. It happens. But I want to throw this out here too. The very same ones that had this Casanova complex are the very same ones that when they are supposedly sharing their sexual exploits, they only wish that the sexual exploits that they're sharing was actually reality instead of fantasy. Let's see. Let me read your observations tonight. J. Cole says, I never understood why black men brag about banging so many women and even dirty macking. That right there, my friend, is the Casanova complex. It is a mental illness. It is a narcissistic lens of how men look at themselves. Because when one suffers from the Casanova complex, that is actually low self-esteem. That's what it is. It's low self-esteem. He continues, alpha male strategy says men should lie to get sex from a woman and then bounce. I've heard of him. I don't necessarily concur. See, this is where I stand. I don't believe in lying to a woman just so I can get between her legs. I don't operate like that. I don't do that. I've always carried myself as if, listen, what you see is what you get. I'm not here to impress you. I'm not here to run game on you. I'm not like the rest of these dudes out here. I'm not. I am cut from a different cloth. Now you can take it or let it alone. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to be with me, fine. Because you probably are saving me a whole hell of a lot of trouble and headache anyway. See? But men are living lives of quiet desperation. They are. Men are living a life of quiet desperation. It's an ego thing. And when they begin to talk about their sexual exploits, notice, right? Notice the dopamine level in their brain. It goes to extraordinary heights. Yeah, man, I had this chick over here and I had her bent over and this, that, and the third. Knowing good and well, that's only a fantasy. Listen, I know for a fact that we all want sex. We men, we enjoy sex. We desire sex from a beautiful woman. But the reality is the dating, and see, this is one of the reasons why the dating scene is such a clown show. It's a clown show because people only want sex. They only want to get their rocks off. Because they don't have the knowledge, let alone the understanding of the science and idiosyncrasies of sex and relationships. Don't worry. Your man Yosef X is going to give you a little bit of the science and idiosyncrasies of sex a little bit later on. Let's see. Miss Marla says, Paul speaks through the grace given to him. He first warns every man among them not to think of themselves more highly than they ought to, because they will become puffed up with their own importance. Self-deceit. In a nutshell, self-deceit. It's an ego thing. See? That's right. Some men will lie about their career. Indeed, they will. Let's see. Brother Barron, what's going on, brother? He says ability, popularity, title, position, education, looks, options, etc. Excuse me, but he gives them another alternative, and that is to think soberly. Yeah. And I'm glad that you made mention the word alternative. Alternative, as we all know, means choice. And we really don't know nor understand how much power it is in the power of choice. Because if the reality sets in, right, we really don't know just how much power of choice we really have. If you think about it, every time we make a choice, right, we actually are our own negotiators. Think about it. When we make a choice, option A, option B, option C, weighing out all the options, we are our own negotiators. Oh, yeah. We are our own negotiators. Yeah. Yeah. See, from a spiritual basis, Paul encourages men to think or to not think more highly of themselves than they should. He is not dismissing confidence. By all means, a man should be confident, but the confidence must be healthy. It must be realistic. Accept the pros and the cons, accept your strengths and your weaknesses. Because all of us in this world, we all have flaws. We all have vices. And it's every bit important to address the flaws and the weaknesses as well as it is to address the strengths. That's from the spiritual basis of this. Think highly. Don't think highly of yourself. Think soberly. That's what you have to do. Think soberly. See? And the reality of the matter is simply this. Once again, there are many people that continues to prey on the ignorance and the stupidity of other men and of other people. And because they're able to manipulate their foolishness, or they're able to manipulate the gullibility, I should say, right? Hence we have the problem of the Casanova complex. Sister Carolyn, what's going on? And Brother Clifford, what's going on? Thank you all for joining us. For those of you that are just joining us, welcome back to another edition of the Yosef X Chronoscope. I am he, Yosef X, and tonight we are talking about stop lying on your Wangamathang. Stop lying on your penis. Discovering or talking and discussing about the Casanova complex. Yeah. See? Now listen. The reality is, folks, there are too many YouTubers. Peep this. There are too many YouTubers that are lying to their viewers and their listeners, pretending as if they have the cheat code. They have figured it all out. But unfortunately, when you find out that everything that some of these YouTubers have been saying have been counterfeit statements and counterfeit observations, then the man goes into a deep depression. Man goes into a deep sadness, deep despair. See? These kinds of men who has the Casanova complex, right? as I've said before, they are living lives of quiet desperation. And this Casanova complex, to delve more deeply on a scientific basis, it is an ideological pathogen. It is an ideological pathogen. It is delusion of grandeur. And I'll say again, in this way, most of these dating gurus and these supposed experts, they have this complex. And it is a form of an inferiority complex. It is. I was talking to my homeboy, Pastor Levi, the other day. I think I told y'all this before, but I'll tell it again. I was talking to my homeboy, Pastor Levi, the other day. And every time I talk to this brother, he's always encouraging me. He's always giving me words of inspiration. But during our brief dialogue, that brother said something to me that really struck home. The reality that he shared with me was, brother, you'll be surprised to know just how many people are secretly jealous of you. You'll be surprised to know just how many people are secretly jealous of you. I've heard other people tell me the same thing. You're well spoken. You dress well. You're educated. You have everything going for you. You're able to enunciate and enunciate and methodically dissect any given subject that you present to your listeners. And there are people that are jealous of your gift of gab. They're jealous of you. They're jealous of you because they know that they will not ever reach the heights that you are going to have. They're not going to have the following that you are going to have. And for you to be a black man with standards in a gynocentric society, that says a lot. Gentlemen, let me throw this out here. And I know that there are ladies that are listening as well, but tonight this is mainly for the gentlemen. Guys, let me explain something to you. It's easy for me to talk to you about the Casanova complex because I once suffered from it. I once did some of the same things and said some of the same things you did just to get a woman. But when I decided to make the choice to work on me, to continue to do some self-inventory on me for myself, when I decided to really work on becoming the ultimate version of myself for myself, look what happened. The reality of the matter is, it is not easy to do the work, but however, it is worth doing it. I know for a fact, in all truth and in all sincerity, every man wants to have a beautiful woman in his life, a woman that's loving and loyal and soft and feminine, etc. And see, let me throw this out here too. The reality is, when you find a man that is possessed with the Casanova complex, you know what happens? The reality is that man actually, right? He's a simp. And now that's a colloquial term for kleptogamist, but I'll get into that in a moment. But when you find a man that will put the vagina on a pedestal, the reality is that woman will never respect that man. No, she won't. It's a sad state of affairs. But the reality is that's what the Casanova complex will do to a man. It's a form of an inferiority complex, low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is a trip, man. I know. I once had an inferiority complex. And ever since I learned to love myself by first learning to honor and respect the Most High, right? And then I learned to honor and respect me. I haven't looked back since. What's the point? What exactly is the point of trying to be like somebody else? What's the point? Now, remember I said that a man or a male who has the Casanova complex is a simp, aka a kleptogamist. Let me explain what a kleptogamist is. A kleptogamist is a male who has a behavioral pattern who attempts to mate with females by means of some deceptive behavior, i.e., a predatory trait, which is genetic. The colloquial terminology for kleptogamy or kleptogamist is the word simp. These kinds of males realize they have little to no dating options. That is why they purposely concur with women when they speak with unrealistic talking points to improve their chances for sex. A kleptogamist could also be known as a dirty Mac, or, a DDR, a dirty, Rodney, especially if that man knows that the woman is married or she's in a committed relationship, and the predatory trait of a kleptogamist teaches males to trick women into seeing them as better options for sex. That's deep, isn't it? But it is what it is. As a matter of fact, I'll give you an example of one who was a kleptogamist. As great as he was a dirty Mac, especially when he got with Bathsheba. I'm talking about King David. Oh yeah, we admire King David for all of his accomplishments, and he was a man after the Most High's own heart. But when he sinned against the Most High, when he slept with Bathsheba, he was a dirty Mac. He was a dirty Mac. He was a kleptogamist who engaged in kleptogamy. Oh yeah. It's in your Bible. It's in your Bibles. It is. I believe it's either in First Samuel or Second Samuel when it gives the account as to King David seeing that naked woman bathing on the rooftop, the wife of Uriah, Bathsheba. He said to himself, I got to have her. He said, I got to have her. And my father was absolutely right. Now that I think about it and I chop it up with you, ladies and gentlemen, my dad was right. He said to me, son, a hard, you know what? I got to keep it clean. He said a hard D has no conscience. And certainly that was the case with David. He saw Bathsheba bathing on the rooftop and lost all logic. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, there have been many men that have fallen into that same trap. King David put Uriah on the most dangerous part of the battlefield, which was the front line. And Uriah was killed in action. Yeah. And as a result of David's sinning and rebellion against the Most High, he got Bathsheba pregnant. And the record is that baby died. Yeah. The baby died. Let me tell y'all something. I know that there are a lot of you that are atheists that don't subscribe to believing in a higher power. I get that. But you can't deny the principle involved in the Bible, especially when I'm talking about King David. That's happened to a lot of men. If it didn't happen to you, you know of somebody it did. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Putting the vagina on a pedestal is dangerous. It's dangerous. Listen, I enjoy love making. Haven't done it in a long time. But there are certain boundaries that you have to enforce. Let's see. Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. She's right, too. 2 Samuel, the 11th chapter, verses 1 and 2. But when you get time in your spare time, at your leisure, go ahead and read the entire chapter. Study the entire chapter. That's 2 Samuel, the 11th chapter. Thank you, dear, for your assistance. I do appreciate it. But it happened. I'll throw this out here, too. I was once a dirty Mac. I was. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was. And at the time of me being a dirty Mac, I was in a very dark place in my life. At the time, my wife had just recently died. She had died over a year at that time. It was well over a year ago at that time since my wife had passed away. And I met a young woman at my job. Nice looking woman. See? I was looking for something that was a void. But I was a dirty scoundrel. Doesn't make it right. But the reality is, I'm glad nothing came of it. I'm glad I didn't sleep with her. I wanted to, but thank God I didn't. And I throw this out here too. Had her boyfriend found out, he would have been well within his rights to attack me. I ain't gonna lie to you. He would have been well within his rights to attack me. And it's only by the grace and the mercies of the Most High that it didn't happen. So these are lessons that I want you, especially you younger cats, you younger men, take it from me. Number one, never covet after another man's woman or wife. That's first thing. Get your own woman. The second thing is, don't ever get involved with a woman where you work at. Don't do that. Don't do that. As my father told me, son, never eat where you defecate. Never eat where you defecate, meaning you never mix business with pleasure. Don't ever do that. You never, ever mix business with pleasure. You know how many men and how many women have lost their lives and lost their reputations and lost their jobs because of extramarital affairs? See, this is the reason why it's so easy for me to share this with you. I've been through it. And I'm not just telling you something that I read. I'm not going off of rumors and hearsay. I'm giving you empirical knowledge. It is not worth it being a dirty Mac. It ain't worth it. And ever since then, when I repented, I felt better. Now here I am. Got a beautiful woman in my life I'm building a relationship with. See? All because I stopped. I stopped. Ain't no honor in being a dirty Mac. Ain't no honor in that. I don't care what anybody says. It is not worth it. It's not worth it. On the Instagram side of things, you have about 12 minutes before you time out. So when the time comes for you guys to to time out or to go off, I'm going to bring you back on. So mind y'all, we are multi-streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So I want y'all to understand, ain't nothing wrong with wanting a woman, but there's a certain way, there's an honorable way to get that woman. See? Listen, let me tell y'all something, man. And this is for the gentlemen. I know we got some ladies that's listening to me tonight, but this is mainly for the brothers. I'm addressing the men tonight because we are supposed to be the leaders, man. We are the leaders. We are the patriarchs. And we've got to do a heck of a lot better than what we've been doing. See? Let me tell you something, man. I wish my life was squeaky clean. But the reality is, I've done my dirt. I've repented of it. And that's the reason why the Most High didn't allow for me to get hurt. I stopped. See? When you get yourself together with the Most High, you get yourself together with yourself. See? And let me throw this out here too. I hear all types of things. The supposed my work husband or my work wife. That's how affairs get started. My work wife or my work husband. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Extramarital affairs get started like that. First they kikiing around. There ain't nothing there at first. Next thing you know, they get in the hotel room and they doing the do. They doing the business. That's why I'll say again. Sister Miles, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. See? But when you have a Casanova complex, it destroys right thinking. It destroys your thinking. It destroys your ability to think. And it causes you to think with your head between your legs instead of your head on top of your shoulders. See? That's what's happening. That's what continues to ensue. That's what continues to happen. Now, here's something else that we got to take into consideration. All right, Instagram, y'all got about 7 minutes before you time out, but I'm gonna bring you back on. I'm gonna bring you back on. Be careful who you claim as your work husband or your work wife. See, that's the problem with a lot of us now. We throw these words out there. We just use them haphazardly. You understand? And because we just use them haphazardly, y'all don't understand. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Words have power. Words have meaning. See? That's the truth. That's why it's so important to be careful. You understand? Be careful using words. Even when you're just joking with yourself, you better be careful. Because words have the ability to be made manifest if you are not careful. Now, here's something else that we have to consider. And I'm going to get to some of your observations in a moment, but let me finish reading some of my notes that I took down here. Here's something that we all have to notice. We as men, whether as a collective, especially, or hive, we as men, collectively, as a hive, okay? We are always complaining and kvetching about females' narcissism while simultaneously supporting it. What? What you mean, Yosef? What are you talking about? We as men, collectively, or as a hive, right? We are always complaining about female narcissism, which my homeboy, Mr. Warren Rich, calls the princess complex, which is female narcissism, while we simultaneously support it. In a nutshell, what that means is this is the same kind of man who will jump in a woman's inbox when he discovers that her man, quote unquote, ain't doing right. When a man finds out that another man ain't doing right by his woman, he gonna jump in that woman's inbox and throw that man under the bus. Oh man, this Casanova complex, man, is deep, man. I'm just giving y'all a synopsis. I'm just giving y'all a synopsis, man. This is a brief synopsis of the psychological apparatus of man 101. That's all this is. That's all it is. It's just a synopsis. And it talks about the mind and the heart. This book talks about it spiritually. See, we talking about both spiritual matters as well as scientific matters. See? How many times has a man, quote unquote, not done right by his woman, and other dudes find out and they start jumping in that woman's inbox? Heavy, isn't it? It's happened. And guess what? It continues to happen tonight. I guarantee you it probably happened while this podcast is on the air. And that's the truth. See? Now, Instagram, you were getting ready to time out. You got about maybe, I thought a minute and a half, but you got exactly now less than 60 seconds. You're going to time out, but I'm going to bring you back on. And I hope that all of y'all are enjoying the podcast. Listen, do me a favor. Like the video, share the video, share it with your family and your friends. And please, sir, please, ma'am, donate to the cause. My Cash App ID is $Hidden One Truth. Once again, that's Hidden One Truth. Any and all donations is appreciated. I cannot afford to do this alone. So if you enjoy my content, if you enjoy my material, come on and donate. Instagram, we'll be right back. But yeah, that's what I want y'all to do. Donate to the cause. My Cash App, once again, is $Hidden one truth. $ hidden one truth. Yeah. I think this is a pretty good dialogue. So for me to come back a first night, yeah. Listen, I'm getting ready to also open up the phone lines in just a moment. And just in case the phone lines doesn't work, please, ma'am, and please, sir, when I say the time is right, feel free to hit us up on Messenger as well, just in case our hotline does not work. Yeah. Y'all excuse me just a moment. I'm trying to set up to bring back Instagram, because they need to hear this just as much as y'all do on Instagram and YouTube. Anybody else on YouTube? Nobody? All right. All right. But I thank y'all for tuning in. Welcome back to the Yosef X Chronoscope. Let me see here. And so what I'm really trying to do, I'm trying to bring them back on here. Ain't that something? And now let me bring y'all back on. But listen, too many of us men, we have the Casanova complex. You understand? And because all right, I think I got him back on. All right, on the Instagram side, welcome back. And we are getting ready to wrap things up for this presentation. Once again, like the video, share the video, tag your family and your friends, and please, ma'am, please, sir, donate to the cause. My Cash App ID is $ hidden one truth. That's $ hidden one truth. I want to share with y'all now a little bit of the science of sex. You all have heard me talk about it before, but it needs to be addressed yet again. See, because not enough of us really understands the power of sex. We don't really understand just how powerful and how important sex really is. We really don't, because if we did, there would not be so much promiscuous or promiscuity, I should say, in the first place. we would not be having all of these babies out of wedlock. So let me share with you briefly about the science and idiosyncrasies of sex. And this is another college course, if you really think about it. It's really a semester, but I'm giving you, just the tip of the iceberg. Listen, semen from a man, semen is made up of CSF, which is cerebral spinal fluid. Whenever a man ejaculates inside of a woman, this man is essentially transferring his brain or his thoughts to that woman. And when he does that, that's called the HGT, the horizontal gene transfer. Now, here it is in a nutshell. This explains why most women pick up all the traits of the men they have sexual intercourse with. That's the first thing. And it also explains why some couples will start looking alike. Notice how women will start talking and acting like their mates especially not long after having sex. And because of that, this also explains the disturbingly and alarming number of different diagnoses of bipolar disorders and why children have personality disorders, because you have random DNA floating all around you, the ladies. See? In other words, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, I just gave you the scientific breakdown and interpretation of what is known as soul ties. You feel me? That's what that is. So that's why it's so important for you to be careful who you select, who you mate with. Because the majority of men and women in this contemporary society now, they are the byproducts of dysgenic breeding. In a nutshell, they are the byproducts of incest. Ooh, but that's another subject for another time. See? Lack of critical thinking skills, lack of logic, deductive reasoning, etc., etc., etc. Now, guys, I'm going to give you some more education too. That's from the women's side of things. But I'm going to share with you what you need to know about your body too. Listen. According to my research, it says when men stop masturbating, right? Because y'all know you use Pamela Henderson, but listen good. When men stop masturbating, the level of testosterone in their body increases over 45% in just a matter of 7 days. Brother Leon, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining us. And it continues to increase as he continues to abstain from masturbation, manual stimulation. The boost in testosterone skyrockets confidence, but also subconsciously attracts women as they are much more attracted to men of high testosterone. The same way a man is is attracted to a feminine woman. This is one of the biological benefits of retaining seminal fluid. This is the reason why it's important to get all of the knowledge and information you can when it comes down to love making, when it comes down to sex. But when you are ill, mentally ill, might as well throw it out there. When you have the Casanova complex, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the very end result. Yeah. Yeah. See? I just shared something with my homeboy, brother Leon. He said he never knew that. Well, now you do, brother, and share it with the other brothers. See? Listen. When a man, and this is all a part of the science of sex, that those who have the Casanova complex don't know. But when you ejaculate your, excessive amount of times, right? And I'm going to throw this out here too. It weakens you. It weakens you. Guys, I'm going to throw this out here too. Peep this. According to my research, it says males or men's bodies stops making nitric oxide after the age of 28. What exactly is nitric oxide? In a nutshell, it is a chemical that our body makes that pertains to sex, in a nutshell. Now, I made mention of that because there was a report not too long ago in an article that a man had an extreme orgasm and died when he was having sex. When that man was having sex, he died of an extreme orgasm. This is the reason why it is so important, right? To exercise, guys. We got to exercise, whether it's walking, whether it's lifting weights. This is what we've got to do. And see, if you my age, we really got to put forth the effort to really keep up our bodies and to really tone up our muscles, because if we don't exercise our muscles and, we don't tone up, eventually it ain't got nothing to do with age, with old age. It will be because we don't use our muscles. And when we don't use our muscles, right, guess what happens? Our muscle mass begins to deteriorate as we get older if we don't exercise more. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Y'all didn't know that, did you? Don't feel bad. I didn't either. That's why it's always good to learn. You never stop learning. And like I said, whatever I learn something, I'm going to share it with you. I sure am. Now, who wants to call in? Thank you, brother. Nitric oxide increases Vasisodor. Forgive me, I'm not good with these medical terminologies, but it increases blood flow. Yeah. That's why it's important to exercise. Don't just look good. Don't exercise to look good. Exercise because you want to live and extend your mortality. You understand me? Yeah. That's what that means. See? I tell y'all what, my hotline wants to act a nut job. So this is what I'm going to do. Since my hotline wants to act like a nutcase, if you want to call, use the messenger. Yeah. As a matter of fact, let me set it up so we can use messenger. Cause my Wi-Fi, and it's windy outside too, so I think that has a lot to do with the Wi-Fi jacking up. It's windy outside, and but just in case y'all want to have some observations, y'all feel free to use messenger right now. Y'all can hit up messenger as soon as I set it up here. Yeah. But it's dangerous to have the Casanova complex. It is. It's dangerous to have the Casanova complex. It destroys logical thinking. You can't think straight. You can't think straight at all. See? And tonight, I wanted to share all of that with my brothers and to encourage you that if by chance you are dirty macking, if by chance you are going after another man's woman or another man's wife, stop. Because all you doing is setting yourself up to be killed. Lord, my Wi-Fi doesn't want to act right at all. But that's what I want y'all to understand. That is what I want you all to understand. I want y'all to get this knowledge. I want y'all to think. See? That is what I want y'all to do. Don't matter if you're a Muslim, don't matter if you're a Christian, don't matter. If you're a man and you are engaging in riotous living and you are living a life of decadency, you need to stop. I do apologize. My Wi-Fi is acting like a swamp donkey. I'm trying to set it up where y'all can hit me up on Messenger. But if you can't hit me up on Messenger, please feel free to continue on leaving your comments in the comment thread. My Wi-Fi wants to act like a fool, so I'm getting ready to wrap things up here. That's what I will do. But let me go ahead and wrap things up here. I do apologize for the technical difficulties with this Wi-Fi. But as we get ready to wrap things up, I want to share this. I want to share this with you as well. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, especially the gentlemen, am I making an indictment on being a heterosexual man? No. I am not making, nor have I ever made, an indictment on being a heterosexual man. Being attracted, in spite of what certain liberals are saying, being a heterosexual man is as natural as breathing. It is. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being attracted to a woman. What's happening is you have put the vagina on a pedestal. And because you have put the vagina on a pedestal, right? That right there is not good. Because the record is, again, that thou shalt have no other gods before me. And when you put the vagina on a pedestal, when you worship the vagina, guess what? That's your God. That's your God. And because you put the vagina on a pedestal, you will lie, you will cheat, you will steal just for a moment of pleasure. But here's something else that's getting ready to blow your mind. A moment of pleasure, hear me good, a moment of pleasure can lead up to a lifetime of despair. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. A moment of pleasure, hear me good, a moment of pleasure can lead up to a lifetime of despair. And because it can lead up to a moment of pleasure can lead up to a lifetime of despair and regret. That's a moment that you can't take back. You'll relive it over and over and over and over again. As a matter of fact, let me read from this. Read from that. let's see. Okay. From the Apocrypha, from First Esdras, the 4th chapter, begin reading at the 26th verse and verse 27. It reads, "Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women." And when you sin for a woman, that means you are not correcting them according to their role as a wife. Oh. And the problem is the simps or the kleptogamists are gassing their heads up, telling them things that they want to hear instead of telling them what they need to hear. That's why you got a lot of women that only want the title of a wife and don't want the responsibility. That's why you got a lot of women that's modern day Gomers, modern day Jezebels, modern day Mary Magdalenes. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Let me read one more passage of scripture and we're going to get on out of here. Let me put this bookmark here. This is also from the Apocrypha, according to Ecclesiasticus, the 26th chapter and verse 22. It says, "And harlot," have mercy, "and harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Most High. A dishonest woman contemneth shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband." A dishonest woman contemneth or bring about shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband. Verse 25, "A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog." Ooh. "A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Most High." Verse 26, "A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all, but she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all." Now that ain't Yosef Benjamin talking. That ain't Yosef X talking. That's the book. That's the Bible right there. Old and New Testament, lost books of the Bible. Lost books. Lost books. Now, Let me see what I can find for my Muslim brothers and sisters. Let's see here. There's some in here. There's some in here. But a kleptogamist is not going to go to such levels and such depth to correct these women. Ain't gonna happen. Oh, it's not gonna happen at all. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm gonna find something before we wrap it up. I've held y'all long enough too. But let me read a passage of scripture from the Quran. Both the Bible and the Quran are such beautiful books. I'm not as astute with the Quran as I am the Bible. I'm still learning the Quran myself. But it's somewhere in the Quran, the chapter or surah, or the ayah or the verse, when it talks about wife. Let's see. I think it's going to be in the second surah or the second chapter. I'm almost finished, y'all. Bear with me. I'm almost done. See, some of y'all are still here. All right. In the second surah or the second chapter of the Quran, ayah or verse 187, it says, "It is made lawful for you to go into your wives on the night of the fast. They are an apparel for you, and you are an apparel for them." Hey, check that out. It says also in the Quran, Allah knows that you acted unjustly towards yourselves, so he turned you into mercy. He turned you in mercy and removed the burden from you. But focus on the first few verses. It's the first few words. It says, "It is made lawful for you to go into your wives on the night of the fast. They are an apparel for you, and you are an apparel for them." Meaning, what it says in the Bible, when a man and a woman gets together, they are no longer two, but one. A man and a woman is no longer two, but one. Now, let me really conclude. I've held y'all long enough. Gentlemen, the reality of the matter is this. Stop being a kleptogamist and stop holding on to the Casanova complex. Because you are damaging yourself. And in addition to you damaging yourself, you are also damaging your women. And because you refuse to adhere to the words of the Most High, right? You pandering for the vagina. You pandering. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting a woman. It's as natural as breathing. But there are certain guidelines and rules you have to abide by, both spiritually and scientifically. Because you know me, I'm a firm believer that spirituality and science, they're the Siamese twins of one another. And because they are the Siamese twins of one another, you cannot have one without the other. So when you have spirituality, you automatically have science. And when you have science, you also have spirituality. Let go of the delusion of yourselves. Let it go. Because the longer you hold on to the delusional belief and the narcissistic belief of self, the longer you become incapable of being the kind of man that you want to be. And more importantly, that the Most High himself wants you to be. All right? That's what you have to do. It's all up to you. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I arrest my case. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it. I want to take this time to thank each and every one of you for tuning in so faithfully tonight. Thank you for your dialogue. Thank you for your observations. Like the video, share the video, tag your family and your friends. And also, donate to the cause. My Cash App ID is $ Hidden One Truth. Join me next time. I got something else to share with you too. Until then, good night from Brooklyn. That'll wrap it up. Peace. I'm out. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.